Hello, good evening, our viewers in London. Good afternoon, our viewers in Maryland. This is Greatness TV, and we're privileged to present to you the Great Live Show. And today we have a very important person who has made it to the World Book of Greatness. World Book of Greatness, which is the first edition, the only book in the world which documents great people. So today we have Dr. Oluwafemi Ogunjinmi from Maryland, and he will be sharing with us about his greatness. He'll be sharing with us about how we can be great in the things we do, especially the relationship we make with others. Hello, good afternoon, Dr. Oluwafemi.
Good evening, afternoon over here in Maryland. Good evening in London. Thank you, Dr. Patrick, for having me. I'm so pleased to be here.
It is always great when great people meet. So it's a great privilege for me this evening and this afternoon in Maryland to be with you on this amazing show, talking about the things you do, talking about the things you do to help the world, to change the world positively. So, but before we go into exactly what we do, could you introduce yourself to our viewers so that they can have an experience with you, get to know you more?
Absolutely. My name is Dr. Femi Ogunjinmi, sometimes called GFAM. I'm a global relationship expert, a recipient of the iconic award Global Relationship Expert by the I Change Nations and the World Civility Day. I've spoken on many media platforms such as the World Network, Sirius XF, and the TEDx as well. Most of you probably familiar with TEDx. And my speech on TEDx has been seen by over 3 million people worldwide. And then I coach people as well. I've been coaching singles and couples for over 11 years, teaching them, giving them some great information on relationship. I've written many books, including Revelations of Relationship, what you don't know about finding true love and sustaining relationship. And my latest book, How to Tell if Someone Truly Loves You, which is based off of my TEDx speech that got over 3 million views and has been impacting lives all over the world. But before I became the person I am today, I was once a playboy, a party promoter, ladies' man, surrounded by different women, having numbers in different area codes. But now I have a different swag, which means that I am saved with amazing grace. I've been transformed, I've been renewed, I've been reformed, and now I am the global relationship expert. So who you see today is not just someone who has been great or been doing something positive over the years. I've once been that bad person, but then Holy Spirit and God intervened and changed my life. So I know about all the games, okay, from the good to the bad, from the bad to the good.
That is powerful, and viewers, in case you've just joined us, we have another special guest, Dr. Sir Clyde Rivers. Sir Clyde Rivers, all the way from California, he is just joined us and will be with us co-hosting this show. Hello, Dr. Rivers.
Hello, Dr. Patrick and ladies and gentlemen, you don't know who you're talking to today. Dr. Femi is I actually heard him speak in Atlanta, Georgia. Dr. Patrick, this man is, in my opinion, I traveled to over 80 nations. This man is the modern day voice for relationships. When you hear him talk, I wanted him on the show, Dr. Patrick, because his greatness is something the entire world needs. Femi, I'm honored to be here with you. And Dr. Patrick Vasinge, you know your greatness.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you very much for joining us. So, Dr. Femi, you just talked
Yes.
about talking about having a show on TEDx, and that is
Right.
being watched by about 3 million people. What was that about? Can you tell us about the content of that talk before we go to the
Yeah. Sure. The title of my speech on TEDx is How to Tell If Someone Truly Loves You. And that's basically inspired by my life. You know, I was thinking about what am I going to speak on TEDx when I was given the opportunity. And God was telling me, you got to turn your mess to a message.
Yes.
Turning your mess to a message. You got to let people know how you messed up and how you have been saved with amazing grace. How you got a different swag now. You know, I use the word, people say swag, SWAG, but I say it is saved with amazing grace. That is what that means to me. So Holy Spirit led me to think about how my life has been shaped. You know, many years ago, as I introduced myself at the beginning, that I was once a playboy, a party promoter, a ladies' man. And I went back to those days where I was throwing parties. And at that time, I was making money from it. I enjoyed doing it as well. But something happened all of a sudden that I met my wife. And she did not want to be part of the lifestyle. She did not want to be, you know, part of the groupies, you know, if people call it. So she had to give me the ultimatum and say, look, is it that you choose me or you choose this party lifestyle and the other woman that you had in your life? And I had to kind of break it down, and God had to minister to me that, look at this situation. Are you in love with the party or you just enjoying throwing the party? And are you in love with this woman or you just enjoy the idea of being in a relationship? So God had to let me understand that and give me the lights to think critically about it. And I had to weigh my option out. Like, look, you know, am I going to throw parties forever? Or am I not going to be in this relationship with this woman forever? So I had to make what I called sacrifice, which is very, very important. If we are talking about if someone truly loves you, one of the greatest signs that shows that someone truly loves you is the sacrifice that they can make. And sacrifice basically means releasing something in your hand in an exchange for something that is far more important. Releasing something in your hand in an exchange for something that is far more important. So I had to make the sacrifice of letting go the party lifestyle, letting go of other women to get the woman that I actually want to be with for the rest of my life, what I truly love. And it's the same thing that Jesus did, exemplified by leaving everything up in the heaven and coming down here, sacrificing himself because he truly loves us. Where before we love him, he was in love with us. So my talk was how to show that someone truly loves you. And that is a major topic that I feel like it's really eye opener for many people. And that is why it is doing over 3 million views right now. And it's growing by 100,000 views every month. And I've written a book about it, How to Tell If Someone Truly Loves You, which can be found online, Amazon and Barnes and Nobles.
Dr. Patrick, let me Femi, there's as an expert, you won our 2020 global relationship expert. Let me ask you a question. Many of the religions of the world have a like hierarchy of relationship, and many times that turns into a woman being treated as a second-class citizen. Can you help address that issue with some clarity, because women are not second-class issues?
Absolutely. And we've seen that in many traditions and in many countries as well, that people are living in this patriarchal relationship or tradition, and it's not supposed to be, because if we have to understand in the book of First Corinthians chapter 11 verse 11, the book of First Corinthians chapter 11 verse 11, it says that a woman is not independent of a man, nor a man independent of a woman. For a woman is created out of a man, and a man is born out of a woman. And they are both created by God. Come on now.
Wait. Patrick, did you hear that? Wait. Come on, somebody. Relationship new rule expert G Femi in the house.
Oh, yes. So men and women are interdependent. So that means they give life to each other, they give love to each other, they give support to each other. They coexist. Without one, the other cannot be what they truly need to be. that what you're
Right.
saying?
Really good.
Exactly, because we cannot be looking at women as a second-class citizen. And even if we have to go back to the scripture, to the genesis of how things started,
Mhm.
when God made Adam and Eve, yes, God created Adam first. But then when he was creating Eve, he spent extra time creating Eve. And in addition to that, he said, I'm going to create you an helpmate. He didn't say a slave mate. He
Oh,
said an
wait.
helpmate.
Mhm.
Oh, man. Come on, man. You're no. And here it is. This is truly a talk that the generations need to have. So the divorce rate in countries is so high now. And I'm saying, if God created an institution, why is there such shambles in it? And this is because I believe what actually you're saying, when you dominate anything, that doesn't bring the best out in people.
No, it does not. It does not. It's like you are stifling their growth. You are kind of making them subservient under you. And that is not a best way to live in a relationship, where I call that relationship equity. Relationship equity. And relationship equity is basically the practice of treating your partner the way you would like to be treated.
Yeah.
So, will you like to be a second class citizen? I mean, we are even beyond relationship. We are seeing what is going on around the world right now with the situation of the black race and the white race, and
Mhm.
what had happened in Minneapolis, recently. So people don't want to be looked at as a second-class citizen. I'm a human being. You are a human being. Will you like me to stifle your growth? Will you like me to suffocate you? Will you like me to yell at you? Will you like me to lie to you? Will you like me to manipulate you, to cheat on you? Of course, you won't like that. So why would you want to do such thing to me as well? So we
Mhm.
have to look at each other that we have both equal right to the relationship, and we must allow our voice to be heard and allow our values and gift to work well for us to kind of promote the relationship.
And based on that, you created the Relationship Equity Day, which is on the 24th of June, actually next month. So could you tell
Yes.
us what are your hopes and aspirations for that day? What was your reason behind the creation of that Relationship Equity Day? What do we hope to get?
So my reason behind it is, first of all, have experience in the both continent of the world. If you want to call
Mhm.
it the Western world and the Eastern world, or the African world. I've been living in both continents and nations, so to speak, for
Mhm.
many years. So I understand the system of both, and how people are treated in relationship, and the views of relationship. So the reason why I created relationship equity is because, back at home, I've seen how men dominate relationship and how men treat women as a
Mhm.
second class citizen. And living in America is quite different to some extent. Not to say that some people don't pick up on that patriarchal relationship where I'm the man, I run everything in the house, so you need to listen to me.
Yeah.
So, you got to be submissive to me. And we are not preaching and teaching that you also got to be submissive to your partner as well. So, I came up with that idea that I want everyone to treat each other equally, treat each other with respect, with
Mhm.
civility, okay? And understanding that if I have a gift, don't stifle my gift. Allow my gift to work, not just for me, but for the enhancement of the relationship. So
Mm.
I'm expecting that on June 24th, that every person in a relationship, every couple in a relationship, that they will celebrate this day, and they will just take a moment and assess their relationship, examine it, and say, okay, let's make a list here. What am I doing? What gift, what values, what skill set do I have that I'm using to promote this relationship? And what skill sets do you have as well that you are being allowed to promote or enhance the growth of this relationship as well? And further think about what other skill set or values or gifting can I use to better enhance this relationship, and then celebrate one another. Treat each other out, go out. If you guys are, if the country allows you or your state allows you to go out, mingle, go to a restaurant, just cook for your partner. Okay, so that's what I expect. And in addition to that, mostly I want every couple to start looking at each other as a co-founder in that relationship.
Mhm.
That we are
Wow.
co-founders in this relation.
Wow.
Okay, that we need to work
That's
hand
a
in
great
hand.
word.
Yes.
That's a
Something
great word.
Thank you, sir.
No. I mean, when you look at it as a co-founder, there's equal interest.
Yeah.
See, if you're the co-founder of an organization, the co-founder of a movement, there's equal interest. And one thing, let me tell you one thing that I think, and Dr. Femi, give me your advice. I think people don't understand process. They expect perfection.
Mhm.
But relationships and life is a process. So
Right.
people look for perfection. And I believe a spirit of perfection is what causes many relationships to die because of no process. Give me some feedback on that, Doc.
Absolutely. We're looking at process and perfection. Jesus himself said he's not perfect except the Father in heaven. Okay.
Mhm.
So if Jesus himself, that we are following his example, says, I am not perfect except the Father in heaven, what makes you think you are going to be perfect?
Mhm.
So, and we see that situation happening in the relationship, consciously or subconsciously, that your partner begins to blame you on things that they expect you to do or to have an idea of doing. How am I supposed to be loved? Okay, I don't know how you're supposed to be loved. You got to let me know how you need to be loved. Or if I'm not doing something the way you want it to be done,
Mm,
and we are not
mm,
understanding that
mm,
there is a
mm.
systematic process to it, because you cannot hold me to the fire of something that you've not communicated, of something that you've not
Wow.
shared with me, and you
Mhm.
have not told me how how I need to make that thing happen for you, that will make you feel that, all right, you are being satisfied in this relationship. So we see that going on in the relationship, that we don't have that systemic process laid down. Like, here's the first thing you need to do. After the first thing, here's the second thing that we need to do. Here's the third thing that we need to do. So we need a process in the relationship. We need to kind of map our relationship, because there's always a destination that we're trying to reach. A destination doesn't mean that when we die, it can just be a destination of, I want you to please me tonight. Okay, that's a destination,
Yeah.
a daily goal. So how do you want me to meet that destination for me? What is my part? What is my role in this relationship that can help meet our destination?
Amazing. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. In case you've just joined us, we're with the one and only Dr. Femi, the global relationship expert, live from Maryland, and discussing about what to expect, what we need to do in a relationship so that we achieve relationship equity. And that
Sir.
comes with civility. In other words, being civil in relationship, Dr. Rivers.
Yeah. Yes. One thing that I tell people is you have to build a vehicle that can drive through all terrain.
Yes.
Let me explain. When you have a vehicle built that can drive in the hot, in the snow, in the rain, in the mud, that's the kind of vehicle that needs to be built for relationships.
Yes.
Because you will walk through all those seasons. And Dr. Femi, I want to ask you a question. How would you advise people to walk through relationship change? Like every couple years, your spouse changes and you change. You evolve. So people always say, you're not the same person I married. Have you
Right.
heard that before?
Mhm.
Yes.
Can you
Yes.
can you help elaborate on that?
Absolutely. People evolve. And either you agree or not, you are going to change. You can either change for better or you can change for worse.
Mhm.
Change is always constant, is always happening. And the problem that we see in the relationship is, one, when we are changing, we may not be conscious of our change.
Mm,
And if we are not conscious of our change, we are not likely to communicate that change to our partner. So even if you are conscious of it, how often are you expressing to your partner that, look, the person that you married has changed. The food that I used to like, I no longer like that food. Maybe I'm trying to be healthy now and I'm not eating that junk anymore, okay? So communicating that is very important. And also us being observant of our partner, picking up on the cues. Have they changed or are they still constant? So what I tell people is at least every month, not every week, at least just every month, have a dialogue, a heart-to-heart conversation with your partner and say, one, have you noticed any change in me? And two, am I giving you all you're expecting in this relationship? Or I'm giving it to you, but it is not enough. So we need to start to have that evaluation in our relationship monthly, so that at least it keeps you guys focused. It keeps you guys in check. Just like if you're going to have a business, almost every day or every month, you got to look at your inventory, or you got to look at your financial statement and say, okay, are we balancing the shit very well? Okay, is everything working the way it's supposed to work? Are we making progress? Are we making sales, or we are not making sales? The same thing in the relationship. Are you progressing? Are you understanding all the values, all the skill sets? Are you understanding? Are you, as a matter of fact, let me take it up a notch. I'm going to veer a little bit, but I'm kind of combining this together. There's something that I feel like every relationship should be doing in addition to that evaluation. And this is almost like in a daily routine. I want us to be in a daily routine of this, is that have you given your partner 3 praises today? 3 praises today. Because life gets in the way of things. We have children, we have businesses, we have coworkers, we have things to attend to. And when that happens, we often forget that our partner also needs that strong support, also need that strong encouragement, that strong emotional, that, letting us know that, okay, I'm still beautiful. I'm still loved by this person that I'm in a relationship with. But because of things that are going on in our lives, we get moody sometimes, okay? We come home and unhappy, and we live frustration, and we are mad at our partner, and they're not even doing anything wrong. It's just because of what they just say, just saying hi to you or good morning or good evening. It's because it's not sitting well with you because of how your day has been. And you are bringing all that baggage from the day, you are bringing into your home, and your partner says something that now makes you feel like they are not sensitive to you. And then you get mad at them, and then that creates problem in the relationship. So what I'm trying to propose to everyone is at least daily. It might be hard for you, but at least try 3 times a day. Praise your partner before you can actually make 1 complaint. So I call it 3 in 1. 3 praises and 1 complaint. Before you complain anything about your partner, before you make a complaint, check yourself. Have I given this woman 3 praises? Have I given this man 3 praises? We need that. We need that. And it can be simple. Do it 1 in the morning, do 1 in the afternoon, and do 1 in the evening. That's it. That is it. It's not going to take you 1 minute. It might just be 10, 15 seconds. Baby, I love you. I appreciate everything you are doing for our family. I appreciate you getting up in the morning. I appreciate you taking care of the kids. I appreciate you going to work. I appreciate the money you are paying every month. I appreciate the way you look at me. Oh, you are so beautiful and sexy, baby. Oh, man, Beyonce ain't got nothing on you, girl. You got to be able to say all those good things to your partner 3 times a day. So, and by the time you start, to me, it's like you are making a deposit. So when you make such positive deposit, it helps to build your partner up. And it's easier for you to withdraw anything later in the evening. You know what I'm talking about. Just in case you want to withdraw something in the evening. All right. So that's basically what I have to share on that one. Did I answer your question, Dr. Rivers?
Yes, you did, sir. Thank you so much.
Very well. Actually, that was leading to revelations of relationship. You have one of the keynote seminars you do called Revelations of Relationship. So could you reveal more about those revelations?
Absolutely. God gave me the title of Revelations of Relationship.
Yeah.
I was trying to write my first book in 2015, and I've written everything out of it, the contents, different topics. And I was going to bed and I told God, I don't know what to call this book. And God said, in my dream, and God gave it to me, Revelations of Relationship. And from there, having that book, publishing it, from there, God said, okay, you should be doing seminars now. I'm like, what am I going to call this seminar? God says, Revelations of Relationship Seminar. That's what you should call it, okay? Brand that word. Just brand it and call it Revelations of Relationship Seminar. And I've been doing that it's going to be 5 years this year. And it's been helping couples and singles all over. And we have different topics that we talk about that we cover in the space of relationship, like communication, forgiveness, rebuilding trust, infidelity, love as well, having great compatibility, singleness, dating, the right way to date, positioning yourself. And we discuss different things that most preachers won't want to talk about in church, like sex. Like, it is really important. It's a vital element of your relationship, And for couples, you need to be having sex at least 3 to 4 times in a week, according to study, because sex will definitely bring the fiber of the relationship, make it stronger.
Thank you so much for that powerful discussion and powerful revelation of relationships, Dr. Femi. Yes.
And Femi, let me ask a question. Like, would you say one thing, the word of God says, where there is no vision, the people perish.
Yes.
How would you draw that into relationships?
It's very important that we have vision in relationship, that don't just wake up every day and you have no idea of what you want to do or what you want to become. So it's the same way you are drawing out vision for yourself. It's the same way God expects you to draw vision out for your relationship. Because when we look at it, relationship is just a word to describe people in a communal engagement. That's it. It's just a word to describe that. It's the people in it that makes the relationship. Okay, so if you as an individual can have vision for yourself, then together with your partner and with your children, there should be vision for everybody and for what we're trying to accomplish together. I mean, even if we go back to the Bible and we look at Genesis, when God created Adam, he gave him a vision. He said, look, I want you to take care of the garden. That is your work. And at the same time, he told him, he said, you can eat out of all these fruits, but this particular one, do not touch it. That is a vision right there. Okay, where am I going to be leading this? And then, second of all, we found out that Eve was tempted in the garden, but Bible has no reference of telling you how Eve found out or knew that God said you shouldn't eat the apple, because Eve told Satan that God doesn't want us to eat the apple. So that means somebody communicated the vision to her, and possibly Adam would have communicated that to her. So there has to be a vision.
That's good.
There has to be a vision for the people, unless they're going to perish. And that's what happened. Even though the vision was communicated, but then there was no process of how to adhere to the vision. She was tempted. Okay, she was tempted by the devil. So when we understand vision, but then what is the process of how we're going to adhere to this vision? How we are going to protect ourselves from temptations, from veering, from falling. Okay, so we need the physical and the spiritual to kind of marry together. We need that marriage.
That's good.
Oh yes, thank you. So because when some people think that they have their partner already, in other words, they have a soulmate. Whatever they do, in a way, God, in one way or another, chose that partner for them already. But some other people say, look, I can't get on with this person. We can't build our relationship together. There's no such thing as having a predetermined partner for you. What are your thoughts on that?
That's a great question right there. I believe that God has designed your soulmate for you. I believe God has designed your soulmate for you because we know from the scripture that God only made Eve for Adam. He didn't make Sarah. He didn't make Deborah. It was only Eve. Okay. And when God designed that, God knew what he was doing. Because the person that God has designed for you, there's a level of compatibility there. But that does not mean that's the end of the world. Because we got to understand this. I told people there's a difference between a soulmate and a marriage mate. There's a difference between a soulmate and a marriage mate. You can be with your soulmate, but you may not be marriage mate. Okay. And what that means is a soulmate is somebody that, God has already, ordained for you. But then it now translates to a marriage mate. Marriage mate means that there are some things that you need to do to develop yourself to make sure that you are equally yoked, like your compatibility, your chemistry, having vision. Okay. Understanding that maybe I need to marry somebody who is on the same frequency as me. Well, I need to marry somebody who can challenge me. I need to marry somebody who is educated. I need to marry somebody, that can show love, that can show care. Some men don't know how to love. Some men don't know how to care. Some women don't know how to cook. Some women don't know how to show love. Some women don't know how to respect. But does that mean that person is not your soulmate? No. The person is your soulmate. It's just that they have not been taught how to make that marriage work. They've not been taught how to make that marriage work. So people got to understand that because you are divinely, God told you that this is your husband or this is your wife, that doesn't mean that's the end of it. You can actually be having problems in the relationship. Just because God says you're a pastor, that doesn't mean you're not going to run through problems. That doesn't mean you're not going to have financial problem running your ministry. You got to go get some teachings on how to balance the sheet and that's to understand financial planning. God is not going to come from heaven and give you that knowledge. You're going to have to go to school or find somebody who is a financial advisor that will give you that information. And, somebody saying salvation is not just the only thing, to not just salvation will get you to heaven, but that's not the only thing that God wants to give to you. There are so many inheritance that God wants to give to you. But you have to do your part to make sure that you are walking in line with God and in line with that relationship with your partner. So we cannot say, because we know that God has revealed to us that that is your soulmate, and then that's the end of it. No, you got to go to seminaries. You got to go to coaches, counselors that they can give you the tips on how to make that relationship work. Have you even discovered the love language of your partner? Maybe your partner love language is appreciation. Maybe your partner's love language is gifting. So you have to discover that. God is not just going to open your eyes and see that. You got to find a way to get all that information. Just like I'm here right now, there's information that I've discovered through studying, okay? So that I can now give it to you. That's just the way it works.
Amazing. And actually, we have Dr. Linda Lara from California. She says she's been married for the last 46 years to her soulmate.
Hallelujah.
and they are amazing people. Femi, what I think, I have a different philosophy now in life. Everything is, do you have tools for the process? Do you have tools for the process? And I believe our experiences give us tools. We can learn. And this is why the value that you bring is tools, because every relationship needs a toolkit. You're gonna have tools when say you're having a bad day, or your wife's having a bad day, or the kid's having a bad day. You need tools. You need so tools. As you get older, less things matter. Like things that you would get mad about when you were 15 years old. Those things at age 30 don't make you mad anymore. In relationships, it's the same way. What are your views on tools for the vehicles of relationships? Matter of fact, that's a new book title.
Tools are very essential to the vitality and to the growth of the relationship. Another way that we can look at it is all you need to be in life is already in you. Okay. God has already deposited that in you. Okay. But then, if you are not placed in the right environment, if you don't hook up with the right people, you will not accomplish all what God wants you to accomplish. So, and the tools, it basically means that I need to hook up with Dr. Patrick. I need to hook up with Ambassador Clyde to help me bring out what is inside of me. These are tools right here. Okay. Or in another way is to look at it that you have ideas, you have visions, but then all the ideas are just sitting in you, but you are not coming on social media to share it with anybody. Social media is a tool to get that out. So in the relationship as well, there has to be tools on how to make that relationship work. And part of what I tell people is, let's just look at a situation of you being mad in a relationship. You're getting mad at your partner, but you don't know how to handle that. You don't know how to handle that. And this is what I tell especially men. And I say, man, look at this. You cannot argue with your wife. And men says, really? I say, you cannot argue with your wife. And I'm going to tell you why. Because you cannot win that argument. You know why you cannot win that argument? The reason is by study. Study shows that women speak about 35,000 words a day. And men speak an average of 10,000 words. That means we only speak about 1/3 of what women speak. How in the world you think you're going to have things to say to that woman that is going to make sense? Well, it's way impossible because women are emotional beings in a good way, and that means they talk from feelings on how they feel. But men, when we talk from a logical aspect of things. Like we basically have analyzed things before we say it. So, but when women say things, it's how they are feeling. So when the storm is coming, you don't know where the storm is coming from. You gotta wait for the storm to calm down so that you can now respond to your woman. That is a tool right there. To know how am I going to accomplish this with my lady. So a tool tells you what you need to do at that particular time to help your relationship to work. So what I tell men is be patient, because your woman, when she's talking, she's playing a home game. She's in her home. She's in her comfort zone. When she is mad and you are talking, that is not your comfort zone. So if you are trying to speak same words that she's speaking to you, you are playing an away game. And it's very hard. If you watch sports very well, it is very hard to win in somebody's home game. It's very hard to win on road, okay? Because you don't have everything biologically working for you. So the only time you can get a word that makes sense to that woman is when she's calm, when the storm is calm. Then you can say a word that makes sense and you guys can really understand each other and you can drive it all the way home, because now you are bringing her into your own home game, in your own comfort zone, and you guys can realize that this is the best way to handle relationship. I do this all the time in my marriage, all the time, and not even for my own example. There was an article that I read. A man who has been married for over 60 or 70 years. This man is over 100 years of age, and his wife is about 96 years of age. And they were asked, what makes your relationship work? I mean, you've been in a relationship for 60, 70 years, and you are over 100 years of age. And the man said, I allow my wife to have the last word. I allow my wife to have the last word. So that means he does not debate with his wife. He's not trying to say, you speak 35,000 words, I must speak 35,000 words. You said, whatever you tell me, then I must respond. No, I don't need to respond to everything you are telling me at that point that you are talking. There is a place for a man to talk, and there's a place for a woman to talk. So You got to know how to calm down internally. And another thing that I tell people is, another tool is, count 30 seconds. Count 30 seconds. While she's talking, count 30 seconds internally to help you calm down. You gotta have an internal dialogue with yourself. And that internal dialogue is basically to counteract that negative thought that is coming to your mind. Because every time your wife tells you something you don't like, there's a negative thought that tells you, all right, defend yourself now. All right, tell her that she's not making sense. Okay, so you got to have a positive dialogue that counteract what you are saying internally, that makes you to calm down, because ultimately you want to have a healthy dialogue in the relationship.
That's a good word. That's a real good word, because what happens is there's different, like what do you say about understanding different temperaments? Like, say, my temperament, I am highly dominant. So, and then with that temperament, I like to hear the most important thing to do. Someone's talking, I'm patting my foot, going, get to the bottom line. What's the bottom? Okay, get to that. So that's me. So people are talking and they're giving long stories, and I'm going, like, I'm looking at them, but my mind is 8 miles down the road. I'm looking at them going, because I'm listening for that. So, and then other people are explain every little detail.
Right.
How do you make those work?
Very good. I'm going to share this, and I'm going to be upfront. I'm a very detailed person. I like to analyze things because I want people to understand. Before I get to the destination, I'm going to take you through a journey. My wife on the other side, oh my goodness, what are you talking about, Femi, now? What is the bottom line right now? She's more like you, He's like, okay, tell me, what do I need to know right now? Like, okay, you are telling me all these things, you are taking me through the journey, but get to it. So the thing is, we have to understand that people are created differently, and you cannot change people. It is not your job to change people. We just have to know, how can I well get along with this person, and understanding who they are and allowing them to be who they are. So that means I have to be the one to change, not them. Because it's like being a leader. A leader, you got to manage multiple personalities. You're not going to be telling people you are leading to change, or I want you to change your personality to me, to fit me. Like, no. You are managing personality. So you gotta have what I consider emotional intelligence on how to manage your emotions and how to allow your emotions to work well for you, not to get the best of you. So you gotta control the emotions internally and let people be who they are. So it's we that we need to change, not our partner that needs to change. So how can I change to help understand this person better? And what are the key words that they say that I must understand? Okay, when they say this is what it means. And if I want them to understand me as well, then we need to be having that dialogue. Like, okay, babe, today we're about to have this conversation, but just go straight to the point. Okay, sometimes you may have to get to that point. I say, okay, I don't have 5 minutes. I only have 1 minute. Okay, baby, it's only 1 minute. And I just want you to tell me what it is that I need to know. So there are times that will always happen. And at that point in time, we need to have that dialogue, that communication. I say, babe, it's only 1 minute right now. And that is what we need to do. Let me even explain a little bit. Let me give you one scenario where you have to be the one to change and not really that person. If you really want to have a successful relationship with people. So I happen to be someone who is extrovert. I love to talk. And you have people that who are introverts. And the difference between an extrovert and an introvert is basically this. An extrovert derives their energy from people. And an introvert derives their energy within themselves. So they need the time by themselves. So in the morning, when I wake up, sometimes I want to engage with people. Like I need that energy, okay? And sometimes my wife is like, your energy is just too much, okay? Because I need that energy. So I remember going to work one day, and I was catching the train, And I remember before I went on that train, my wife told me about a friend who I will probably run into on the train, who catches the same train as well to work. And my wife says, look, this person, she's an introvert. In the morning, she doesn't like to be bothered. Okay, so don't talk to her. And lo and behold, I got on the train that day and I saw this lady, and I'm like, I need to talk now because I need that energy. I need to engage. But then I remember the word my wife spoke to me, that this person is an introvert. Just leave them alone. If you can just say I, let just that be I. Don't have any other conversation. And if you even want to avoid them, avoid them. So I realized that I had to be the one to change in order for me to have a good relationship with that person who happens to be an introvert.
It's really good.
That is powerful. Thank you so much, Dr. Femi. So at the very beginning of this, you talked about the place of God, God being the beginning of the relationship. How does God walk through the relationship to the end of that relationship in death, which as the vows say when people get married, till death do us part. So what's the place of God along the way?
God should be the foundation of your relationship. From the point where you are single, because he's the one that can direct your part, he's the one that can reveal, who the right person is, for you. To the point where, right, you now become, equally yoked, you get married, you start having children, and you want death, till death do you guys apart. But then there are some challenges that come along the way of relationship that you may not be able to fix yourself. There are challenges that you alone, with your knowledge, you cannot fix because your knowledge is so little, is so limited. So you need God to fix that relationship for you. There are things that you'll be rolling out of in your relationship. There are things that are depleting love, care. One of the things that I tell people is what we complain about mostly is because there's a deficiency in the relationship. We are running out of love. We are running out of care. We are running out of support. We're running out of money. We are running out of so many things. So there's deficiency. But what happens is there are things that you cannot control, and you need God to replenish those things for you. That is why God is very important, because he's the one that can replenish them for you. Think for an example. Let's just go through the scriptures. I think we understand on a practical level right now. But let me just take it to the scripture, because I love to, bridge the gap between biblical principles and practical principles. Scriptures tells you that the first miracle in the Bible that Jesus, when he came to the earth, performed was at the wedding in Canaan. The wedding in Canaan. Because what happened was the couple got married and they invited Jesus into the wedding. They invited Jesus into the wedding. And guess what happened? They ran out of wine. When they ran out of wine, Mary, who happens to be Jesus' mother, told the people and said, look, go and talk to my son. Have him fix this thing for you. And God told them, okay, prepare a pot, put water in it, and then give it to the person in charge of the water to drink it. And when the person drank it, the person said, wow, what just happened right here? This water has turned to wine. As a matter of fact, this wine is way better than the wine that was served at the beginning. Because typically you give the best things at the beginning of marriage. Okay, at the beginning of relationship. You experience your best at the beginning of a relationship, the honeymoon phase. But after that 1 year, 2 years of honeymoon phase, you start having trouble. So it's the same concept. When you go to wedding, they give you the best stuff. So when the person now said, like, wow, this wine even tastes way better than what we had at the beginning, it's basically saying that at the beginning of a marriage, things are always going to be good. But it will get to the point whereby you are running low of love. You are running low of trust. You are running low of care. You are running low on sex, on intimacy. You are running low on many things. And you need the presence of God, of Jesus, to be able to replenish that. So in the Bible, in the example that I'm giving you in the Bible, Jesus came there to replenish what the couple was running low of. That was really important to them. Because otherwise, they would have been embarrassed. Imagine running low of that drink, which was basically important to the people that came for that ceremony. It would have been an embarrassment for the couple. So the same thing in your relationship. God is trying to save your relationship from embarrassment. So when things are running low, you need the presence of God to bring those things back, because there are little knowledge that you have that cannot salvage that relationship for you. So the presence of God is definitely important.
Very powerful and well said, and linking with the Bible and the story and the miracles that Jesus made in order to help us understand what relationships are all about and how they link with God. Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming more or less to the end of this show. If you have any questions, put them in the comment box and we'll be able to answer those questions for you. But as we continue, there's one other thing that I was thinking about as you're talking. You know, that people who decide that God has called them to live single and married lives. So in other words, within relationship, there are different callings. God can call some other people to live alone, not get married throughout their lives. I'm talking about monks, for example, some priests or some spiritual leaders that say to live the whole single life. So how can they live a relationship with others, or how best? And how can they help us as well live our own married vocations better?
Say the question again. I didn't
Well,
quite get that.
think about the people who choose to live single lives.
Right.
Yeah. So God has called them to that way. But at the same time, they advise us they give us support along the way on how to live our relationships. Though they're not in the relationship, but God reveals to them certain messages that this is what people need in a relationship. Because there are some people say, actually, to be able to advise others in a relationship matter, you should have been in a relationship first. You should have experience of it. So how is that possible? And how can we tap into their greatness or spiritual greatness to help us?
Thank you for clarifying that.
Yes.
Jesus himself said that not everybody is going to get married. Okay. Not everybody is fit to get married. And there are some people that they've never thought about the idea of marriage from the womb. And there are people who have separated themselves, or kind of put themselves into the calling of God and deviate from the true marriage. So we need to understand that it's according to the scripture as well. But now the question is, should we listen to those people that are single, that all they do is they've dedicated themselves to the work of God? And how can we listen to them? Because we are feeling that they don't have the experience of marriage. So how would they best give us a great knowledge or a great tip on how to make our marriage work? We got to understand that true knowledge comes from God. The true knowledge comes from God. The inspiration comes from God. And God could have given these people revelations, ideas, nuggets, principles that can help you live your relationship righteously. Paul gave a lot of ideas on marriage that is helpful today. And brother Paul, wasn't married, right? Okay. So, a lot of thoughts, a lot of the ideas and the principles that he gave came from God, came from the source of God. So people can give you ideas or advices or knowledge that you will just look at it and say, what do you know? What do you know? What have you experienced for you to be giving me this such knowledge? I'll say take it, because God is the true source of knowledge, and maybe giving you something that will work in your relationship. Before I got married, I've been teaching on relationship for many years before I got married. And I always give tips on radios, my radio show, and people listen, both singles and couples. And every now and then, you will have somebody that will challenge me and say, Femi, you're not married yet. So how can you be telling me things about marriage? How can you be telling me things about marriage? And my answer is as easy as this. What I do is from God. God qualifies me. Jesus was
Yes.
telling his disciples, he said, I'm sending you in twos. Go and preach the gospel. And on this journey, you don't need anything else. You are good all by yourself. So that means everything you need is already inside of you. And God will give you the information. Okay. So we need to be open-minded. That's the key word. We need to be open-minded. We can learn from everybody. We can learn from anyone. People say that you are not too old to learn and you are not too young to teach. So if you are
Mhm.
open-minded, we understand that we can always learn from people. And some people will say, okay, if I want to learn anything about how to become rich, I must only listen to people who are rich. I
Mhm.
said, yes, that is correct. But you also need to listen to people who are poor. Because guess what? They can tell you the secret of how to be poor. So you can learn that this is what I don't need to be doing.
Yes.
So you need to be learning from anybody because you just don't know what you can get from them. So let us be open-minded because anyone can give you the right information and God can send anyone to you.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that clarification. So we've talked about the man, we've talked about the woman, but one other thing, other person we haven't talked about is the child in a relationship, the children in a relationship, and how can children cultivate those relationships which are life enhancing or life giving within a family environment. Because if you think about it, there's some children who don't even want to see their dad, some children who don't want even see their mom. So, but we're thinking about a unit, a family unit, whereby everyone, the whole relationship, man, woman, children are all synchronized and everything is working together.
So if I want to make sure that I'm answering your question very well,
Yes.
and what I got from your question is how do we make sure that we have a synchronized relationship with our children, considering that some children may have missing parents, maybe a missing mother, a missing father. How do we ensure that those children are growing up with the right nuggets, with the right information on
Yeah.
marriage, right?
Yeah.
It's very important for us to have uh, two parents in a relationship. Very,
Mhm.
very important to work towards having two parents in a relationship. I think sometimes there are issues or circumstances that may prohibit that. Maybe for an example, somebody uh, got pregnant prior to marriage, and then the husband doesn't want to marry that person, or maybe they are married and then maybe they want to get divorced due to infidelity, due to abuse, one thing or the other. Whatever the case may be, try your best to make sure that you have the presence of both parents in the lives of the children. And we also need to understand that as these children are growing, I don't care what age they are growing, from toddler to a 2 year old, 5 year old, to a 10 year old, to a teenager. They are watching everything that is happening in that relationship. Parents, you are the first set of role models, teachers of what marriage is to your children. Subconsciously, everything you do in that relationship, say in that relationship, goes down to the subconscious level. And if we understand psychology and the way we work, mostly everything we do comes from our subconscious level because we act automatically. And when we act automatically, what we say, what we think automatically is from our subconscious level. There are things that we don't do consciously, that they come from subconscious level. And what your children learn the most comes from what you do, not what you say. We got to understand that as parents. What your children learn from you is about what you do, not really what you say. So we always got to be present. We always got to model a particular pattern for our children. We have to think and ask ourselves the question: this marriage that I'm living, the way I talk to my partner, the way I act towards my partner, is that the same way I want my children to act? I want my daughter to act. I want my son to act. Or is that the same way I want their husband, their future husband or future wife to relate with them? Okay, so we have to kind of have that, pump our brakes and question ourselves, how are we living in this relationship? And another thing is, one of the things that I've done in the past is I do mentorship and I mentor young kids, young men, and I mentor them on different areas, relationship, education as well, and what they want to become in life. Especially those kids that they only have one parent. Maybe especially their mom is the only one taking care of them. So they need that father figure. They need that paternal figure. They need the presence of the man in their lives, and vice versa as well. Because as an opposite sex, we are always looking love from the other sex. As a man, I'm looking love from the woman. As a woman, she's looking love from the man. So when you have a daughter, she's always looking love from the father. That is why, husbands, mothers, hear me. Don't fight with your daughter when you see that she's so much in love with her dad. It's a natural thing. It's a natural instinct. It's a natural affinity, attraction that a daughter will have that so much love for the father, and the son will have so much love for the wife. Like I don't fight with my son, when he wants to play with his mom, or what he wants his mommy all the time. Like, okay, I understand how that works. But it is for us to know that the presence of each parent is really important in the relationship.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Dr. Femi, for all the great knowledge you've given us in the last hour. So it's been a great pleasure hosting you on Great Lives. It's been a great pleasure hosting you, the global relationship expert, Dr. Host and creator of the National Relationship Equity Day. So I wanted to ask you, how can we get in touch with you? How can we come to your seminars? How can we find some of your books? So how can we participate in the Relationship Equity Day?
Absolutely. The easiest way to get in touch with me is just to go to my site, gfemspeaks.com, gfemspeaks.com. With my site, you can see my social handle, like Instagram, it's gfemspeaks with an S. Twitter, it is gfem radio. And on Facebook, it is gfem speaks. So just know that IG and Facebook, I have the same handle, which is gfem speaks, GFEM speaks. And then on Twitter, it is GFM Radio, and my site is gfmspeaks.com. Also, in addition to that, I've created an online platform, which is called the Improvement University.com. Their Improvement University.com. And with this, I have some courses on relationship that I've developed, that this is the latest and greatest information on relationship that can help you today. Some information that you hear about relationship from other people, they can be outdated. This is the latest and greatest information on what works in this 21st century that can work for your marriage. I don't care, what areas are you looking for in marriage, communication, you're having struggle with forgiveness, with rebuilding trust or infidelity, this will help you. Or maybe you are single, you are dating, there is something for you on this platform, and it is called the Improvement University.com. And you can access those courses that can help you to increase your relationship journey. So thank you very much. And please don't forget, June 24th is the National Relationship Equity Day. That is the day that I'm expecting all couples from around the world to come together, to appreciate each other, to engage with one another and talk to your partner. What gift, what values am I using in this relationship to enhance it, to promote it? And what else can I do to help you and our family to make it work? And what relationship equity are we practicing? Are we really practicing relationship equity? Are we having fairness? Am I treating you the way I would like to be treated? Or is the other way around? So thank you very much.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you very much for giving your life to improving other people's relationships. And thank you very much for the training you've given us tonight as well. It's the beginning of the journey for us, because we know there's Improvement University. We can continue with the relationship training to improve our relationship, enhance our lives, and live our best lives. Thank you so much, Dr. Femi.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Patrick. I really appreciate this. Meeting you in London in January. Oh my goodness. It was absolutely fantastic. Go, folks, listen. I am telling you that you need to come to London in August. All my folks in America, you need to travel to London in August. You got to attend this Greatness Award. This past January, I was there. It was beautiful. The red carpet. I mean, I was treated like I'm a king. Like, greatness is mine. Okay.
Oh, yes, the 15th of August. Yes. Looking forward to being with you again. Definitely, yes.
By God's grace, I hope this COVID thing just clear out and then people can travel again. Because I'm so looking forward to it. So looking forward.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr.
Keep
Femi.
up the great work.
Thank you to our viewers tonight. And it's been Dr. Patrick Singe live from Greatness TV, powered by Be Alive TV and Greatness University. Thank you.